Picture this scenario, because I'm willing to bet it's happened to you in the last 48 hours. You're scrolling through your feed late at night and you see it. An old high school rival just posted a photo of their brand new SUV. Or maybe a friend from college is flexing a designer watch that costs more than your first car. Suddenly, your perfectly functional life feels inadequate. Your brain doesn't ask, do I need that? It asks, how would people look at me if I had that? You start imagining the quiet nods of approval when you pull into the parking lot, or the likes from people you haven't spoken to in 5 years. And before you know it, you're justifying a purchase that your bank account and your sanity cannot afford. But here's the brutal reality we rarely admit to ourselves. We are essentially lighting our hard-earned money on fire just to rent the respect of people we don't even like. We're performing in a play for an audience that isn't even watching because they're too busy trying to perform for us. My name is Ray, and I've spent way too much time dissecting the invisible scripts that keep us running on these high-speed hamster wheels. If you're tired of feeling like you're working a job you hate just to buy things you don't need, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join the community. I'm here every week to help you decode these traps so you can start owning your life instead of your lifestyle owning you. Now, let's look at the status trap for what it actually is, a form of accounting fraud. In the business world, a company that makes $1 billion in revenue but spends $1 billion on marketing is a failing business. It's headed for bankruptcy. Yet in our personal lives, we only look at the revenue, the fancy car, the luxury apartment, the labels. We completely ignore the cost of goods sold. And the good being sold is your life, your time, and your mental health. We've been sold this lie that our self-worth is tied to our net worth, but more specifically to our visible net worth. We live in a lifestyle-first economy where appearing successful has become more important than actually being stable. It's a game of smoke and mirrors. You see someone in a $100,000 car and you think, wow, they must be rich. But mathematically, all you truly know about them is that they have $100,000 less than they did before they bought the car, or worse, they have a $1,500 monthly payment that tethers them to a desk for the next 7 years. This is what I call the status tax. It's the extra 30 or 40% you pay on everything just to ensure the logo is visible. It's the convenience tax you pay because you're too exhausted from working to pay for your status that you have to order takeout every night. We're working overtime to pay for the image of a person who doesn't have to work overtime. It's a paradox that would be hilarious if it wasn't destroying our generation's ability to ever actually retire. Think about the last major status purchase you made. Maybe it was a suit for a wedding, a specific brand of shoes, or the latest tech. Ask yourself, if you were the last person on Earth, would you still want it? If the answer is no, then you didn't buy a product, you bought a costume. You paid for a prop to use in a social performance. And the most expensive part of that performance isn't the price tag, it's the life energy you traded to get it. The problem with this performance is that the stage has changed. A few decades ago, you only had to keep up with the Joneses, the family living next door. If they got a new lawnmower, you felt a little twinge of envy and that was it. But today, the Joneses are on Instagram. They're 24-year-old crypto millionaires in Dubai, and they have access to filters that make their behind the scenes look like your once in a lifetime. We are now 100% connected to a global leaderboard of lifestyle, and it is rigged. Social media has weaponized our biological need for status. Evolutionarily, being at the bottom of the tribe meant you didn't get the best food or the best mates. Your brain treats a lack of status like a survival threat. So when you see someone you barely know posting from a first-class lounge while you're stuck in a cubicle, your brain triggers a stress response. It tells you you're losing. Buy something to catch up. The spotlight effect, the great illusion. Here is the irony that should set you free. The spotlight effect. Most of us walk around thinking there is a giant spotlight on us, highlighting our outdated phone, our 5-year-old car, or the fact that we wore the same outfit twice this week. We think people are judging us. But the truth is, everyone else is too busy worrying about their own spotlight. They aren't looking at your car, they're looking at you to see if you are looking at their car. We are a society of people looking in the mirror wondering why nobody is looking at us. When you buy that $5,000 watch to impress people, they don't think, wow, he's successful. They think, I wish I had a watch like that so people would think I'm successful. The admiration never actually reaches you. It hits the object and bounces right back to the observer's ego. The hedonic treadmill. This leads us into the most dangerous psychological trap of all, hedonic adaptation. You know that feeling when you finally get the thing, the new iPhone, the designer boots, the luxury sofa? You get that massive hit of dopamine. For about 72 hours, you feel like a new person, but then the new becomes the normal. The upgrade cycle. You don't just stay happy with the new thing, you become the new baseline. That luxury item becomes your new floor. Now, to get that same high, you need something even more expensive. You've raised your cost of living, but your level of happiness has reset to zero. You're running faster and faster, but the scenery isn't changing. This is why you see celebrities with $50 million mansions who are still miserable. They've simply reached the end of the treadmill and realized there's nothing there. The relative poverty trap. In 2026, we're seeing a rise in what I call rich relative poverty. This is when someone makes $200,000 a year but feels broke because they live in a neighborhood where everyone makes $500,000. They're buying $15 cocktails and paying for $800 a month gym memberships, not because they enjoy them, but because that's the entry fee for their social circle. We buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't like. That quote has been around forever, but we never talk about the cost of those people. If you have to buy expensive things to keep your friends interested, those aren't friends, they're fans of your curated image. And fans are the first people to leave when the show gets canceled. You are spending your life energy to maintain a social circle that would evaporate the moment you started living within your means. Think about the mental bandwidth you're losing. Every time you buy something for status, you're adding a maintenance file to your brain. You have to protect it, clean it, insure it, and eventually upgrade it. You don't own the things own your attention. So how do we actually exit this trap? Because knowing you're in a cage is one thing, but finding the door is another. The first step is a complete redefinition of what success looks like. We've been conditioned to think success is a summation, adding more cars, more square footage, more titles. But real success in the modern world is actually a subtraction. Success is the absence of stress. It's the absence of people you hate having power over your schedule. It's the ability to wake up on a Tuesday and decide that you'd rather go for a hike or work on a side project than sit in a meeting about synergy. You have to decide right now. Do you want to look rich or do you want to be wealthy? Because the two are often mutually exclusive. Looking rich is expensive. Being wealthy is quiet. Wealth is the money you don't spend on the flashy watch, which instead sits in an index fund buying you days of freedom in the future. I want you to try a mental exercise I call the invisible audit. Next time you're about to buy something significant, ask yourself, if I could never tell a single soul that I owned this and nobody would ever see me using it, would I still buy it? If the answer is no, you aren't buying a tool or an experience, you're buying a social signal, and social signals have the worst ROI in history. Instead of chasing status, start chasing margin. Margin is the gap between your ego and your income. If you make $5,000 a month and live like you make $3,000, you have $2,000 worth of I can do whatever I want every single month. That is a superpower. That is the freedom fund. When you have margin, you have the power to walk away from a toxic boss. You have the power to take a risk on a new business. You have the power to be present for your family. The person in the entry-level Honda with $50,000 in the bank is infinitely more powerful than the person in the leased Mercedes with a $5 balance. The system relies on you being a passive consumer. It wants you to feel just insecure enough that you keep buying solutions in the form of products. But the secret is that you cannot buy your way out of a problem you behaved your way into. You have to math your way out. You have to start valuing your hours more than your items. We're living in an era where time has become the ultimate luxury. The truly wealthy people I know don't wear big logos. They wear plain t-shirts and spend their money on things that give them back their time, better health, automated systems, and privacy. They've realized that the status trap is just a high-end prison. As we wrap this up, I want you to do one thing this week. Find one status expense in your life. Maybe it's a subscription you keep just for the name, or a habit of going to a specific expensive spot just to be seen, and cut that money. Take that money and put it in an account labeled freedom. Watch that number grow, because I promise you, the feeling of knowing you don't have to impress anyone is 1,000 times more addictive than the temporary high of a new purchase. Stop playing a game where the only way to win is to lose your soul to them all. Build a life that feels good on the inside, not one that just looks good on a screen. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Go reclaim your time, and I'll see you in the next one.